Today, Johannesburg is playing host to a special encounter. Two a cappella ensembles from two different continents have come together. Ciela from Leipzig, Germany, and Just Six from Johannesburg, South Africa. For a week, these 6 women and 6 men will join forces to create a common repertoire. Each group brings its own musical tradition with it, as well as curiosity about the others. The singers from Ciela have a broad musical education. Just Six learn by ear without sheet music. They rely on their musicality and intuition. Will Ciela's classical repertoire fit with the African beats of Just Six?
That's so beautiful because then it just, I like how it comes on top of what we're doing, you know, with the rhythm, what we could be doing with the rhythm. And it just...
Yeah, when you join us and really make this very
make
strong.
A groove. And because we don't groove, we know.
The workshop is being led by Markus Detterbeck from Germany. An expert on South African vocal music, he's here to help bring the groups together.
In principle, they could also do it alone. I think my role is just to organize things a bit. There are 3 or 4 really strong players who are contributing ideas. They're brimming with them. To start, I've just given them free rein and lots of space.
And a friend told me an interesting thing about collaboration, and really listen to this one because it's so important. He said there are 2 parts of collaborating with anybody else. One is essence and the other is form. Essence is heart to heart and values to values, and form is how you're going to do it. And he said, be careful in a relationship when somebody wants to go to form right away. Because if they do that, you'll always get bit right in the tail by essence. Essence has got to come first. And it was interesting, at the time I had an idea of writing a book called The Power of Positive Management. So I went to a well-known author in that whole positive thinking field to see if he wanted to write it with me, and all he wanted to talk about was form. Who was going to do what? How are we going to divide the royalties? What are we going to do about marketing and all that? So I decided to pass. About a week later, I get a call from Larry Hughes, who was the president of William Morrow Publishing Company, our publisher at the time. And he said, I heard you were disappointed in your meeting a week or so ago. He said, have you ever thought about writing a book with Norman Vincent Peale? And I said, is he still alive? I mean, my parents had gone to his church before I was born. And they said, not only is he alive, he's unbelievable. And so I flew to New York and had lunch with Norman and his wife, Ruth, and Larry and our agent. And I want to tell you, in a 3-hour lunch, there was not one mention of form. It was all essence. Norman and Ruth said, Ken, tell me about yourself. Tell me about Margie. Tell me about what you guys value and what this, and this is who we are and all. And at the end of that lunch, Norman turned to Ruth and asked her the ultimate essence question. He said, Ruth, should we write this book with this young man? I mean, I was over 40 years younger than he was. And Ruth said, absolutely, under one condition. I said, what condition is that? He said, from now on, when we get together, you will bring your wife, Margie. The 4 of us will work on this together. And it was unbelievable.
Think of something small that you can hold tightly in one hand. Maybe a small round stone, or maybe a great idea that you wrote on a scrap of paper. Now imagine something larger. To hold it, you'll need to open your arms. And now, even with your arms open, it's so large, you need to invite others over with their arms open to help you move it. Holding tightly to an idea means complete control. of something small. And arms wide open represents letting go of control in favor of harnessing the power of collaboration to move big things. Every time I participate in this group art making, I'm reminded of 5 essential lessons of collaboration that apply in any setting. Now, some of these might sound familiar. The first and the hardest is let go my ego, which means I have to let other people edit my ideas, and I have to be prepared to let my words fall completely to the ground. And second, practice makes perfect. Now, collaboration does not come naturally or easily to all of us, but with the exception of the occasional tyrant or the incurable control freak among us, we can all learn collaboration. We can learn, we can practice, we can perfect. 3, share and share alike. To collaborate actually means to share work. So share work, share the resources, share the blame, and share the credit. And number 4, my personal favorite, holding tight is very safe and very small. You never know what's going to happen when you release an idea to a group or you pass a poem to somebody else. But with the right partners, it leads to bigger and better things. And number 5, teamwork does not equal collaboration. Do you remember Tom Sawyer? He's the one that had to whitewash the fence. It was a punishment, but he managed to convince his buddies to come in and do the work because it was so much fun, and he sat back until it was done. Now, his ability to recruit and mobilize and delegate was admirable, but it was definitely not collaborative. There are obvious signs when collaboration is happening. Everyone at the table has a voice, or in our case, a pair of scissors, but everyone is working, everyone is contributing, and everyone is working towards the same goal. And in the end, everyone's name is on the product, or perhaps no one's name is on the product, because collaboration belongs equally to each and all of the participants. And so tonight, in place of a big idea, I want to offer you a big reminder that what each of us can accomplish on our own will fit in the palm of our hand.
And so I believe from where I sit, I feel platforms have really changed the game, and we need to possibly have organizations now view it from that lens of how can we possibly collaborate with other industry players, expand the ecosystem, and inadvertently bring on board as many small-time players who might not have the same level of access as every single other person would have. I think that is quite transformative in one way or another.
So on the event, it's the theme, I feel, which is the most important part. And I think this says a lot about how we think of growth in Africa and how will that growth come about. So for us, it's not about just innovating. It's like if you don't collaborate, I think the days of single companies innovating are over. I think the value chain, the way it stacks up today in the continent and outside across the world, requires you to collaborate through. So this event is about actually putting together a series of our partners, people we work with, people who are governments, MNOs, digital partners, fintechs, who are all coming together and actually talking about what the future opportunity set looks like, and actually how do you go about ensuring that the best possible technology or solution goes to the consumers to help in the continent.
Hope at Africa, a new collaboration between 7 African universities that hopes to improve the teaching skills in Africa. The Memorandum of Understanding signed between the universities promotes the knowledge sharing in a local classroom, whereby the art of teaching is discussed and involved in work groups that are live streamed between the universities. Stellenbosch University and 4 Swedish universities will likewise engage in a local classroom through Hope International.
The difference between cooperation and collaboration. Cooperation begins with mutual respect, while collaboration begins with mutual trust. Cooperation requires transparency, but collaboration requires vulnerability. Cooperation includes shared goals, but collaboration includes shared values. Cooperation is independent, but collaboration is interdependent. Cooperation is often short-term, while collaboration is often long-term. Cooperation involves the sharing of ideas as a group. However, collaboration involves generating entirely new ideas together. Both cooperation and collaboration are vital for creative work. Collaboration without cooperation can lead to groupthink, but cooperation without collaboration can lead to disunity. However, collaboration plus cooperation means deeper work, more innovation, and better quality.